morning. Welcome to Rising. Happy Thursday. We've got another great show for you today. Jessica and I were just discussing her Dungeons & Dragons character alignment.
Yes.
You didn't really know what that meant.
Right.
Neither did my producers, but I did a whole information session.
Yes, we discussed how the show here doesn't have a particular political bent altogether, but perhaps a moral alignment.
Right. A little chaos, a little neutral, a little... No, we won't go there. You've heard enough. Anyway, we have a great show to get to today. We have an interview actually with Senator Rand Paul that was fantastic. You're going to definitely want to check that out. But let's get to the news. Take it away, Jessica.
Yeah, Robbie, I really just want to make sure that our more elder leaders in Congress are okay. We talk a lot about the concern around President Biden and his cognitive state and Senator Dianne Feinstein. But yesterday, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell seemed to freeze during a press conference, abruptly pausing mid-sentence and was silent for several seconds. Let's take a look.
After finishing the NDA this week, has been good bipartisan cooperation and a string of
Are you good, Mitch?
Okay, Mitch? Anything else you want to say, or should we just go back to your office? Do you want to say anything else to the press?
go back to
Go ahead, John.
I'll take it back. Let's go back to you.
Go ahead, John.
So this is we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the IRA, and of course,
According to NBC, McConnell apparently suffered a previously undisclosed fall at Reagan National Airport on July 14th. Journalist Glenn Greenwald reacted to the incident, calling into question the aging lawmakers, tweeting, quote, "The top leadership of the U.S. government is extremely old. They stay around forever, clinging to power as tightly as they can, petrified to give it up. And so we have more and more upsetting scenes like this one. Best wishes to Senator McConnell's health. But this is gerontocracy." And I think that's fair to point out. Obviously, wish the best for Senator McConnell. Good to see that he was, he seemed fine later. Don't know specifically what it was. I mean, it's very hot in D.C. right now this summer.
Yeah.
People can get dehydrated, disoriented. It can happen to people of all ages. But we just can't ignore the fact that this is the oldest Congress in American history. The age of our senators is particularly alarmingly old. The average age has gotten older over time as there are just more there's more entrenchment. There are more mechanisms by which powerful political figures can stay in office, like literally forever. This is not a Democratic or Republican issue because there are lawmakers in both parties who are very old. And look, I gotta say, this is becoming a big worry. These are important issues that Minority Leader McConnell and President Biden and Dianne Feinstein and Chuck Grassley is also very, very old. Some of our Supreme Court justices are quite old. Also, there's a lot of tech issues, important issues that I think don't necessarily play to as we all know from dealing with our own parents and grandparents, and we'll be in that position of one day too, where the intuitive grasp of technology is so much easier for younger people. I do worry that this is not healthy for a competent, free society in their government.
Right. There's several things going on here. And it's not just that we have the oldest Congress ever because medical technology has advanced and suddenly people can work into their old age and keep their good health. It is the case that if you take care of yourself and, you make sure you're healthy, we have increased, your quality of life health-wise and the longevity of a human life. That's great. That's not really what we're seeing here. We're seeing members of Congress exhibiting obvious cognitive decline. And even Joe Biden as well, someone in the highest office politically in the United States. And that's a concern, right? The cognitive decline. Then you also have, will these members of Congress and people serving the general public in the United States be alive to see the effects of the legislation that they pass? That's a whole other thing. Are they acting in their own self-interest and perhaps against the self-interest of the general public in America? That's a concern. Then you have this other concern of, do they understand the legislation that they're tasked with analyzing, amending, and passing? And I think Senator Blumenthal demonstrated quite hilariously that absolutely not. Asking, folks at Meta, do you commit to ending Finsta? It was one of the most hilarious moments in American politics, but so concerning that these are the folks tasked with addressing AI development and how that will be regulated, addressing just how computing power is used by America's biggest corporations. Can they even comprehend the power of the monopoly that Alphabet has when it comes to data? That's really concerning. I think people like making light of these things because they're so scary. And some folks actually theorize that, the alien UAP situation is not unrelated from the McConnell situation. Someone posted this to Twitter. I think it's hilarious. It was a little alien inside of Mitch McConnell's head. And that is what happened.
Oh, that's the Men in Black
This
alien.
Explains the pause. The alien had a moment.
All right. No, it's fine.
I love it.
I mean, Mitch McConnell has a sense of humor about himself, clearly. All the cocaine Mitch stuff, the turtle stuff, the him looking at the camera zooming in thing. Which I appreciate. And this really isn't about any one specific figure, but a lot of our European peer countries don't have situations where aging leaders stay in power forever. They have stronger parties and people actually are forced to retire. We don't have that because so many of these figures are democratically accountable in only the loosest sense because of partisanship and gerrymandering and all of that kind of stuff. You don't have anyone taking on these powerful people. Also, they have war chest. They have Mitch McConnell is himself the fundraiser for people running for Senate. If you're running for Senate, you have to court Mitch McConnell. If you want to run in a Republican primary and then a general, you need his help and support because he has control of the purse strings. That's true. That was true for Nancy Pelosi. That's true for party leaders. They are so strong, and they do not retire. They don't. Past their point, we had Fauci in office for 40 years. That's not democratic accountability at all because you couldn't vote him out. But I think this is a national security problem that the people making these decisions are so old, and we're seeing evidence, as you said, of real cognitive decline, not just physical impairments, which are, whatever. If they're still all mentally there and, they need help getting around, I guess that's not the end of the world. But these are demanding jobs. These are stressful jobs. Look at historical pictures of presidents and how they age, over the time period. George Bush and Barack Obama looked 20 years older after they left office. Donald Trump somehow looks exactly the same. But most other presidents look like they age. It takes a toll on your health, on your mental faculties. And these are people who are already up there, who are, again, the age of our parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents. And at some point, it seems like elder abuse.
Yeah, it does. I don't know if the answer is going to be the cognitive test that Nikki Haley's proposing, term limits, expecting the American people to vote them out. I think gerrymandering gets in the way of that. So, let's hope Mitch McConnell is right and that he is fine.
Yeah.
More rising after this.